So thank you all for jumping on our team call tonight. Since Memorial Day, of course, was yesterday, we weren't going to do a call, and I didn't want to let it go by because I think that team calls are so important. It's so important to connect and just stay a part of the community and chat and build this business together, because that's the point. Like, we're doing this together. Your goals matter to me. Our goals as a team should be frequently laid out so that we know where we're going. We know our mission. We know why we're doing this and how we're getting started each day and why we're getting started. And I want to tell you guys, so I know some of you are kind of back to work and some of your schedules are still different and whatever. But if you have a day off through the week, or you have like sometimes random days off through the week, I recommend the Power Hours. So since last week, I've just started this new schedule. And it's been already amazing for me to have something to follow in my day, because you know how it is. Like, even when I work my Power Hour, I can sit down, I could go off of my tracker, but what happens? I get sidetracked, squirrel, someone messages me, I open it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to message her, and I'm just all over the place, right? So these Power Hours have been giving me a timeline to follow. So I'm pushing play by 7, because in order to get on the Power Hour by 8 a.m., I have to push play by 7. There's just no other option. So it's making me get my butt in gear, push play. I'm done with the Power Hour by 9, and I've got a huge chunk of work done. So I want to encourage you guys to get on those, because there's another one at noon. So if noon is a better time for you to jump on those, do it. I think they're also at 8 p.m. This is all Central Time. So I just want to encourage you, simply because there's so many coaches running these, and they're seasoned coaches. They're veteran coaches. They've been around. They know how to make this business work. And they're doing the same thing that we're doing. So that's kind of the first piece of the puzzle I want to talk to you about. So we're all doing, like, it's like a recipe. Okay. We're all doing the same exact recipe. I'm doing the same exact recipe as Ashley Molstat is doing. And she's the #1 coach. And she's signing an ungodly amount of people every single month. But what we're doing isn't different. It's the same. Maybe our methods are a little bit different. Maybe her brand is a little bit more, and I'm not comparing, I'm just trying to show you guys, maybe her brand is a little bit more unique to her. Maybe she has like kind of a niche that she's gained a lot of people from, right? But my recipe for this business is just like your recipe. So if you're leaving out an ingredient to your recipe, like, you can't take pieces out of this business and still make it work. You can't take pieces out of the tracker and still make it work. So like today on the Power Hour, Summer Tucker is her name. I've seen her speak at Summit. She's amazing. She was talking about macaroni and cheese. She's like, okay, so you take macaroni and cheese, and it's the same recipe pretty much, right? We're all making it pretty much the same way. But if you don't put noodles in your macaroni and cheese, you've got cheesy water, and the noodles are the invites. So if you aren't putting in the noodles, you're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. Like, we wish that people just came to us. Like I've said this before, but don't I wish that people just were knocking down my door to be on my team and to join my challenge group. But guess what? They're not. Because they don't know exactly, they don't understand. Like, it's so easy for us to think, okay, it's so easy for us to think like, okay, I sent 10 invites, but nobody jumped. But okay, they don't know what we have to offer. They don't get it yet. We can't expect them to get it. But and if you think that way, so it's like if you say, oh, I only made $50 this week, or I only made $50 this month, or I only hit Success Club 5, or whatever it is, okay? It's so easy to look at all the things that you only did, but you're not going to get any farther if you don't look at what you did do. If you don't look at the barriers that you did cross and the roadblocks that you did get through and how you moved through that, instead of thinking, Because guess what? If you're like, oh, I only made, a couple $100 this month and that's just not what I planned to make. Okay, well, you're going to only make that much because that's where your mindset is. You're not allowing yourself to focus on the mission of why you're doing this. So my mission, of course, is to free other people from their prison. Like so many people need free, like they need unlocked from the prison that they're in. And that's being a little dramatic, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're in a place, so many people just don't understand it. So we are freeing them. Like how many of you guys feel way more free than you've ever felt because you have a grip on your health for once, maybe. You have a grip on positivity. You have a grip on personal development. You know that you need it. You know that you thrive on it, and you know other people are going to thrive on it as well. So my mission is that and most of you know this because I shared it in my stories, but I actually ended up quitting my job completely because I was still working on Wednesdays. But I ended up completely quitting my job last week, and I'm not going back. Like I don't even know that I'm filling in. And this is huge, and this is exciting, and it was scary because it was like that was a piece of me and a piece of like I've done it for 13 years, and I'm really close with the office that I work at, and I have so many patients who only want me to clean their teeth. And I've built these relationships over 13 years, and I've put a lot into my job, and it's like I spend more time with those people than I do with my own family. And I know you guys get this because you, like a lot of you work and you totally understand that. And so, but I know that that is no longer serving me in the way that it once did because I experienced some things over the winter with weather where I needed to be at my job because I still had patients, but I needed to get my kids because school got out early and nobody else could get them. Okay. So my mission was to come home so that I could be with them so that when they're old enough to play sports, I'm not the mom that's missing out, and that I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, and that I can create something, and that I'm not working until I'm 65 and all of these things. And if that's what some people want to do, then so be it. But here's the thing. They don't know sometimes, and this was my mindset, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. People don't understand there's 35 million people right now without a job. And it's heartbreaking and it's devastating, and I can't imagine. And we have so many things to be grateful for. And if we're not focusing on the things that we're grateful for with our business, with our fitness, with our health, with our finances, whatever it is that you're going to focus on, if we can't be grateful, then we're not going to be able to move forward either. And so that takes me back to being grateful for the $50 you made last month, or the $200, or the couple people you got started on BOD, and maybe your commission wasn't very much, but guess what? Maybe they're on their way to changing their life. Because do you know how long it took me, and I'm still working on it? And I shared this with Miranda and Haley the other day when we did a one-on-one, but something that we don't think about is you get people started. And I did this for a long time. It was like I'd sign people up and I'd be like, let's go. Like, you got to send the invites. You got to do this. You got to do that. Like, if you want the results, right, you got to show up. But guess what? Some of the coaches that you sign up aren't where you are yet. You know how much growth it takes to get to where you are, to get to where I am? We didn't do this stuff overnight. Most people don't sign up and just run at the gates and like, okay, and great if they do. And I did. I was a runner, but I hadn't grown. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was having still a bunch of negative self-talk and all this stuff I needed to work through, but I didn't know that at the time because I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. And so think about that when you get challengers signed up and you're like, okay, why won't they coach? They're so good. Okay, why won't, whatever the case is, right? We've got to wait for growth. Like, I've got to wait on my leaders for growth, because they're growing just in the way that I had to in order to get to where I am. So this takes patience, right? So I want you to think about your mission, because it should be something, and we talk about it, and it's kind of like your vision, but it's like you have to get to the place of sometimes, do you ever feel like when you go to send invites, you're doing it just because it's on your tracker, just because you're supposed to, just because it's your to-do and it's your job, right? But sometimes it doesn't feel as authentic if we just run at the gates and we're sending messages like wildfire and we're just like trying to do it just to check it off the list. So we need to get in our place of mission. Okay, how can we serve these people? How can we literally just completely, and this is what's so hard. I was explaining it to one of my in-laws' friends the other night, because of course people are like, oh, when's your office opening back up? And then I'm like, well, I'm actually not going back to work. And then they're like, they look at you like you've got three heads, you know, and they're like, well, what are you going to do with your life? You know, because a lot of people don't know what I'm doing. If you're not on social media, you probably don't really know what I'm doing. And that's another thing that Summer Tucker said this morning on the call. It was so funny. She said, have you ever been made fun of for doing this? She's like, I've been made fun of. She said, if you haven't been made fun of, then you haven't shared this with enough people. Because people are going to say whatever they want, but who cares? Like, we don't know. They may be so miserable. They have no idea where to turn, but it's sure easy to pick on somebody who's doing something that is amazing, right? Because it's intimidating. And I've shared that before with like the analogy of like sitting down with your properly portioned chicken salad and then sitting down with your Whopper and fries, and guess which one gets the less like googly eyes, you know, the Whopper, because it's like, that's normal, right? We should just be doing that. And so people just get intimidated by, and it's not always intimidation. I'm not saying that. It's just that some people just feel like they can't, right? So I want you to write down your mission. I want you to write it down now or at the end of the call, and figure out a way that's going to get you in your place each day where and I shared this the other day on our, in our team page, you know, like, what did I even say? Something like, you know, hopefully one of your messages today ends up in the right inbox. Like, we don't know who we're going to touch and who we're going to inspire, but what if your next message is somebody who's broke as can be, a single mom who's struggling, who's broken, has no confidence, who's overweight and feels lost and feels like they have no community and all of these things, right? And we can all relate to some of that stuff. And so that's pretty impressive when we can actually touch somebody like that and serve them in a way that will completely transform their life. So we've got to fall in love with the mission, not the method. Because the method's not always going to be fun. The method to be successful, the recipe to be successful is not always going to be fun. We're not always going to wake up and be like, oh, I'm so excited to do my whatever messages, right? So we've got to fall in love with our mission before we start our method. And because our method can change, like the method can be tweaked. The method will sometimes have to be changed in order to be successful. And that's just the way it goes. That's trial and error. That's doing what works for a while and then switching it up, because sometimes we have to in order to, like, you know, get a result. Because some coaches hit something hard. Coaches hit hard. Like, I've had so many coaches who hit Success Club. They're halfway to Emerald. They've made an income, right? And it got hard and people weren't saying yes. And guess what they did? They quit because they weren't in love with their mission in the first place. They didn't even really know their mission, maybe. They didn't know the effect that they would have on people, and they were too caught up in the method that wasn't working. And so it's just so easy. And I want you guys to think about that, because I know a lot of you are consistent AF. And I'm so proud of you because you show up no matter what. And you send the invites and you consistently talk to people and you consistently get no's. Guess what? So do I. I'm consistently getting no's. In fact, a lot more no's this month than I got last month. I'm having less results this month than I am last month. Oh, well, my mission's still the same. My method's pretty much still the same. I'm working on things, right? I'm working on consistency, time management, and the things that always help us to succeed. But my mission's never going to change. I'm never going to want to. It's like when I shared the other day, and I've said it a couple times, that I want to bring my husband home. Like, I want to bring my husband home so that he doesn't have to work at the prison for the rest of his life. And he's not miserable. It's not that. But how many people would think that I'm freaking nuts when I say that? That I'm out of my mind, like ridiculous for even thinking, not maybe because they don't believe in me, but just because that's not what society tells us to do. Society tells us that you work for somebody, or you take a job that has really good benefits, or you whatever, right? And you're married to this place from whatever. And that's not my mission, and I guess that's more my vision rather than my mission, because a mission is kind of something we're looking to do every day, and our real purpose behind our business. And another mission of mine is to help all of you guys. Like, it's so important to know your goals, for your coach to know your goals so they can help you achieve those goals. Because if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're like, okay, I have these goals, I really want to achieve them, I'm doing the things, I'm kind of doing this, I'm kind of doing that, or I am doing this, but there's something I'm not doing, right? Then you're missing a piece of the recipe. You're missing a piece of the puzzle, and it's interfering with your business. It's going to. And so you've got to make sure your coaches know your goals, because most likely your coach is willing, and I know everybody on our team is willing to run with you, like, and really hit the ground running with whatever it is. So let me find my place here. So it really has to be important enough for you to show up every single day, and stuff's going to get in your way. And there's a girl on the call right now and she showed up in the midst of COVID. Her husband lost his job. He got a new job. They're selling their house. They're getting ready to move. She's homeschooling. She has 3 little kids at home. Okay? Now, if that's not enough to rock your ever-loving world, then I don't know what is. But guess what? She shows up every single day, consistently hitting Success Club, digging in with her coaches, sharing her heart, and serving others. And y'all know who I'm talking about. And it brings me to tears almost, just because it's amazing. And she's always had a servant's heart and a mission to share. And that's so important. It's got to be important enough for you guys to show up every single day, for us to wake up, and when our feet hit the ground, that we're ready to serve and help others. And really just doesn't that make you have a purpose? Doesn't that make you honestly doesn't that make your heart explode, knowing that you have the tools to change all of these lives? Coaches, customers, and all of these people in front of us that come in our paths. And so many people, there's a reason why these people come in our paths. I'm speaking to a girl right now in London, and I've spoke with her every single day almost. I met her on Instagram. She's crippled right now with anxiety. She's struggling to function. She's struggling to take care of her kids. She's not finding joy in anything daily life right now. And I feel for her, and I feel terrible for her, and I can't really do anything besides be there for her. And I'm supposed to actually get on a call with her tomorrow. And so I'm so excited. But people's paths we cross these people's paths for a reason. There's a reason why we are adding to our network. There's a reason why we are expanding our network. It's not for Success Club. It's not Success Club. It's not to get another sale. Yes, this is a business, and you need to make sales. In order to make money, you need to produce, and you need to promote. Okay, we all know that. But what's behind that even more? Because we already know that when we signed up for this wasn't a typical network marketing company. This wasn't your typical MLM. This was something different that could transform and will transform us, obviously, and the people that we come across. And it's just so important to keep it simple. We always talk about this, but today on the Power Hour, we literally, it was simple. It was because here's the thing, and when we've done invite challenges, and yes, it's important. It's so important that you send invites every day. But if I were to tell a new coach, who hasn't been a coach very long, that they needed to send 100 invites by Friday, what would they say? Like, no, that's impossible. That's scary. Like, who wants to do that, right? So that's not a simple task. There's ways to get out of your own way, and there's ways to dig, and there's ways to like actually send more invites, right? We know that that's the basis of this recipe. We know that. But what I'm saying is that it's okay if you sent 3 today and you only send 1 tomorrow, and you send 3 on whatever, okay? Whatever works for you. As long as you're leading with your heart and you're showing up consistently every single day, you're gonna get results. You're gonna get results. And people are watching you, and they're gonna see you, and they're gonna come to you, and they're gonna finally be like, wow, it might be 6 months or a year or 5 years. Okay, so let me see what else that I have wrote down. So you can write down this equation if you'd like. Consistency plus time plus intensity multiplied by your belief equals results. And I always said, since I started this business, that this business takes patience and it takes consistency and being excited about what you're doing, of course. But when you multiply that by your belief, you're going to get results. It's your belief behind this, belief behind what we're doing as a community and as a team. And think about it this way. If you only sent 1 invite tomorrow, or maybe you sent 5, whatever, think of what we as a team are doing. It's not just me. I could send 10 invites, but it's not just me. It's everybody I have behind me sending invites. Think of how many people we are reaching as a team. That's huge. That's amazing, because we are seriously, I know that you, like some of you all are finding your builders, and you're finding your future leaders that are going to be on your team. And it's so exciting to get someone who gets this and when I say gets this, I mean gets like what it is that we're doing and why we're doing this and why it's so awesome and why it's so amazing. And it's just so much different than anything else. So that's honestly all I had for the call tonight. I want you guys to think about your June goals. Like we need to finish up the month. We need to still stay focused in the things that we can do before Monday, because it's only Tuesday. So think of all the things that we can do. We have almost a week before the first of the month. And maybe your goal is to go Emerald again. I hope it is. I hope your goal is to go Emerald again, or to go Emerald. And I'm not going to go into all that, because you all know what Emerald is and we know how to get there and all of that. But maybe it's just to sign 1 coach. Maybe it's just to get someone to say yes with whatever that may be. Maybe it's to up your consistency level. But I want you to focus on the things you can do before the end of the month to set June on fire, because it's up to us to come together to get down our tracker, I'm sorry, the post last night didn't go through for the tracker. So for all of you who are like, but I had set so many of those up, and I guess I stopped. And so last night 1 didn't go up. So I've got to go ahead and auto post, because I had to do 90 of those, and that took quite a while. So I only did like 30 the first go around. But whether that's being really consistent with your tracker, or just digging into part of your belief and your goals, because it's honestly just amazing what we can do with this business. And like Lindsay told me a long time ago, and I've said this to a few of you, but she said, you've got a 6-figure business in the palm of your hands. What are you going to do with it? And it's going to come from us literally doing the equation that I just said: consistency plus time plus intensity multiplied by your belief equals results. Every single day, having fun, staying engaged, sticking together as a community in this movement that we have, and just setting goals that, like, maybe someone else thinks they're stupid. Like, people outside this might think they're stupid. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't mean you can't do it. Like, it just means that when you do it, you're going to be able to say, hey, like, I did this, what I set out to do. I know people thought I was nuts at the beginning of my coaching journey when they thought, like, you're actually, so is that really like a thing? Is that going to stick around? Is that going to, people have these questions, and it's like, I don't know. And so, but it's not up to them. It's not up to them. It's up to you, and it's up to whatever you want to do with this. So, if anyone else has anything they would like to share, I would love to hear your goals if you want to share them. We have a few one-on-ones scheduled for later in the week. So I know I'll be getting some goals from you guys, but I want you to like get comfortable with saying your goals too. Cause I can remember feeling like, okay, I want to make, a full-time income. I want to, don't eat that. Not yet. Hold on. I want to get to a certain rank or whatever, but it was like scary to say it, right? Because you still maybe have that lack of belief up here. And that's where you've got to work through that, because, and I'm reading this book, The Super Attractor, and I've told you guys, but I really like this book. I love the way she talks about, energy, and I'm kind of like into that, all that, but I love the way she talks about just that. When you put your focus there, right, that pulls just your positive energy for what you can do. It pulls it away because you're still just like hung up on, and honestly, when you do the things that serve you and serve others, it just flows. Things work out. Things come. Like it just works, especially when you keep going and you don't give in when it gets freaking hard. And it might, and it will, and it's okay, because that's just part of your journey. And that's the way that you're going to be more equipped to handle other coaches, to help more people, to help them when they hit a wall, because you're going to be even stronger for it. So just think about like being ready to free the people that you come in contact with this week and this weekend. Like, let's just free these people and help them to understand that like they can have happiness and reach goals and whatever it is. Does anybody else have anything they want to share or say? You don't have to, but if you do.
Okay, something from the call this morning that really struck me, but I don't want to interrupt anyone if they have goals. So go for it if you guys have goals. So something she said on the call this morning, and I've heard it before, but just the way she said it, like, I swear this coach was so amazing this morning. And I'm like, is this call recorded? Because all my girls are watching it. If I have to hold it in front of their face for them to watch the whole call, because it was so amazing. But she said, so she talked about a couple things, but something that hit home was when she said, don't hold someone else's future in your mouth. Meaning, don't be afraid to ask the question, because I think of so many girls that are in my life now because of this business, and I could get emotional because these girls know every single thing about me. These girls are the ones that held me up and that I talked to when my husband lost his job and when we're talking about moving and when all this, ish is hitting the fan, so to speak. I don't know where I'd be without them. So think of it that way. Don't hold someone else's future or this opportunity in your mouth when you could literally ask anybody. And I know we have some newer coaches on the call, or maybe some coaches that are jumping back in or whatever. And I know one of my struggles, I don't like to use that word, but I'm reading this other book that's really good called The Obstacle is the Way. So now I like saying the word obstacle like it's a good thing, because it is. So anyway, I keep thinking about how I was so scared to ask the question because I was scared of what people might think of me, or how they might take it, or how it might come across, or what if they say no. And when I thought about it, and I know Tabitha's talked to you guys about this, when I thought about it, like when I'm at the IHOP and some waitress comes by and she's like, hey, have you tried our coffee? Like, we brew it here. It's amazing. It's the best coffee. Do you want a cup? Some people are gonna be like, yeah, no, thanks. But so the coach this morning said that, and she's like, so like, are you going to run out to your car and start crying? Like, oh my gosh, why did I ask her if she wanted the coffee? I'm so stupid. Like, why did I do that? And when she said it like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it just totally flipped it on its head for me. Cause I'm like, yeah, like I'm just asking a question. And when you let go, like when you're coming from a place of servanthood, when you're coming from a caring, loving place, that comes through on the message. And if the person on the other end doesn't feel that, then it's either not the right time, or maybe that we, like, I want to help everyone, so I hate to even say the rest of this sentence, but maybe that energy doesn't need to be in our lives right at this very right same time. Maybe there's a better time. I don't know. But I know for you newer coaches, just, I know it's hard, but letting go of the meaning behind all of it and knowing that your heart is good, right? And that you're asking people to do this because of the impact it's had on your life. And then the outcome's the outcome, because you're going to keep doing this because it means so much to you and all the people that you're helping, you know? So, I mean, I really liked that this morning. It really set me on fire. And like, I'm like, I can't wait to get on the phone with all my people. Like, it was so good. And it was so funny because Tabitha's like, yeah, I heard this her talk at Summit a couple years ago. And I'm thinking, man, I would have loved that. And if it looks like I've been stranded on a boat for like 2 months, I'm not. I just apparently don't know what sunscreen is, you guys, but I know I look pretty rough. But anyway, that's all I had. I know my goals right now are really focused on the girls in my downline because they're on fire and they're like far surpassing me with their work ethic, with their, like, they're just with the people they're helping. So I'm on fire to help them right now. So anyway, I'll be quiet, but I just wanted to share that, Tab.
No, I love it. I love it. And and we've talked a lot about sharing about the opportunity, but she shared that this morning too. So Janelle Summers is Shalene Johnson, for those of you who know Shalene, who does PIO and Turbo Kick. So Shalene's sister is Janelle, and Janelle is at the very top of Beachbody. She's like one of the only coaches who's been like 4-time superstar diamond, which means she's got like 15 diamonds underneath her times 4, and then way more than that, I'm sure, in other business centers. But anyways, she has a coach under her. Mindy Winder is her name, and she's been a coach forever, so I just know who she is. She's like an introvert. That's part of her story. She's an introvert. She shares that, and she came to Janelle and she said, I'm just having trouble getting people to jump. And Janelle's like, okay, let's look at your like recipe. That's not what she said, but like, let's look at what you're doing. And she's like, how many people are you inviting to the coaching opportunity? Like a day. And she's like, maybe like 1 a week. And Janelle's like, okay, like that's the thing. So she had her like up her invites, and she's super successful. She's a 6-figure earner plus and super successful, but we make it so hard to share the opportunity. And like Jessica said, it's like, just ask the question. We're too caught up sometimes in thinking that they won't want to. They'll think it's a scam. They'll think I'm trying to sell them something. They'll think whatever they'll think, but okay, that's okay. Like, again, we don't know what they're going to think. They might be like, yes, this sounds great. This sounds amazing. And whether or not they say yes now, you're dropping the breadcrumbs and you're helping them to see future things that they're going to have their eyes peeled more for you, right? Because you've already invited them, and now you're like you've shared with them. So anyway, so does anybody else have any? So I would make it, what I was wanting to say was I would try to up the amount of invites, maybe if it's just a couple more a week. Like, make it intentional to invite somebody to the opportunity every single day. If you did one person, just one a day, that's 7 a week, potentially like 28 to 30-ish a month. That's a pretty good, solid, consistent amount. And that's not including the people that just will come up, like customers who you might invite, or someone who says yes to your boot camp, but then you're able to get them enrolled as a discount. So see how when you're actively asking the question for coaching, but then you're also doing your other invites, how the invites can turn into coaching. So that's how you can kind of end up signing like 5 people all at once because of the way that you're talking and sharing. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? We can open it up and just chat, or if you guys are good. But I'm going to be getting like your goals from you. And I know all the other uplines of your uplines will be getting your goals, so we can kind of just help you have a successful month and the end of the month. So I'll be chatting with all of you guys very soon. Anything else? And we'll do.
Okay, two more things. I'm so sorry. Okay, so number one, if you are, if you're talking about the coaching opportunity to somebody, you can always send voice clips or whatever. If I have somebody super interested that has lots of questions, I like to add them to the coach sneak peek. Like it'll take them, like we're doing them every couple weeks, right? Tab. I mean, we've been doing them every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you either have a call to send them, and or you have like we did the Facebook groups where you just tag them in the videos. Don't ever be afraid to throw people into those sneak peeks, even if they're a week or two old or whatever, because like that's where people have some really amazing breakthroughs there. And that's how I've signed coach it. Like Twyla even said herself when she did a video for our last coach sneak peek, like this is what brought me in, was seeing the community through that. So anyway, that's one thing. And then I totally forgot what the second thing was. It was a logistical thing. Oh, I know what it is. So Tabitha and I actually copied off of Tabitha a Google form, and it's really easy to make your own. We can walk you through the logistics of how to do it on Google Forms, like on Google, what's it called, Tab?
It's on Google Drive, but it's a Google form.
Yes. Thank you. Google Drive. So anyway, it's a really great, it's like not even 10 questions, or maybe it is 10. And I love how it helps you get to know your coaches. So I try to send that to all, like some of y'all not older coaches, but like more seasoned coaches maybe didn't get that from me because I just implemented it within the last, I don't know, 3-4 months, Tabitha. Yeah. But it's a really great way, like for you to make it your own, send it to your new coach, and then that kind of prompts them. You can just say, you know, hey, I've got this form I like to send to all my new coaches just so I can get to know them better so that I can serve you the best, is what I say, because that really is what you're doing. You're just figuring out how to help them the best. And then that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea, and it can lead you into like a new coach call with them too. So not to overwhelm you guys, because keep it simple. Seriously, you can just keep it simple. But that's something I've been doing lately that's been helping me a lot. So I wanted to share that, and we're glad to share the form with you because I copied it. So
yeah, for sure. I got it from, I think I might have gotten the gist of it from like Christina or something back in the day. So it came from someone else, not me. Okay, let's do a boomerang. Really quickly before I forget, the glow up call, I'll announce it, but it's my turn to do the glow up call this week, which will be Thursday night at 7:15. It's for emeralds and above. Am I right about that? I think it's for emeralds and above. I'm so confused. Okay, I'll let you know. I think so, because Lindsay's in Michigan now, so it's my turn to do the call, but we go back and forth, and now I'm like, I think it's for emeralds and above. Pretty sure. Okay, so anyhow, and then we're doing a sneak peek next week. I'll get you the info on that, but I didn't get one done this week. We just did one last week, but we're doing one next week. So be thinking about that. Okay, so now we're going to do a boomerang to just the final piece of the call. Okay? Ready, set, go. Yay! Okay, awesome. All right, you guys, it was so good to just like see your faces and chat and all of that. So we'll be in touch soon. Have a good night. I'll see you later.